Hello and welcome to part 3 of HTML forms. As you can see, for the first name, I have used the name attribute for input element. The name attribute is used to send data to the backend, either PHP or JavaScript. And for the last name input, I will use the ID, which is used to manipulate the input element in JavaScript. The next, you can see the placeholder is used in the placement of the label, which helps guide the user what they have to input in the input field. Here you can see enter your email address. Next, the country input, I have used the autocomplete and put it value as on. So you can see it's working when the backend of the website is also coded. And for this city input field, I have used the required, which will prevent the submission of form without the city input field being input. And for residential area, I have used the disable attribute in input element. This is used when you want to keep an input disabled until some other input element is filled and later enable it using JavaScript. And for delivery payment method, I have used the read-only input. This allows you to show the value that you are taking as input to the user, but does not allow him to modify it. He can but copy and paste it. And for file input, I have used the multiple attribute. The multiple attribute has no value, but it will allow you to input multiple files. And as you might have seen in previous videos, that input type submit and button use the value attribute to show the as name of the button or input type submit on the browser. Now let's take a look at the output. Now for first name and last name, we use the name and ID attributes. You will see no change in the browser, but it will enable manipulation at JavaScript for ID and to send data to PHP in the name by using the name attribute. Now let's take a look at the placeholder attribute we used for the email address. You can see the value we used for placeholder address. You can see it says enter your email address here. For country, we use the autocomplete attribute, and it can be seen working when we attach some background code, backend code to our website. And we use the required attribute for the city. So if I leave it empty and submit the form, it shows me please fill out this field. And you can see that it is disabled, but when we're doing JavaScript, we can change the disabled to enabled after the user inputs country and city. And for delivery payment method, we use the read only attribute, and you can see the user can see the value and read, but he can copy and paste the value. And for the input type submit, you can see the value we provided in the value attribute, that is login, here is shown here. Now for the input type file, we use the multiple attribute to allow user to upload multiple files. You cannot see the window that allows you to access files and folders and select them, but you can see when I did that, it shows me 14 files have been input. Now I'm going to show you the autofocus attribute. When you place an autofocus attribute on an input type, the browser highlights the rectangle of that input field, which I'm going to show you shortly. See, the first name border has now been bolder, and that is what it means by autofocus. So it automatically focuses that input field. I've made a mistake, and you can see when I put define as the value in and try to submit the form, it shows me @ is missing. This is because I have by mistake put the input type as email rather than text. But I can simply fix this by going in the code and changing the wrong input type email to text. Now let's take a look at some of the other attributes of input element that are less commonly used. First of all, look at the size attribute that should limit the size of the input. And next we can see max length attribute. This is the length of the input, which checks that at maximum the length of input is 4, but it can be less than 4 or less than 4. Next, you can see for the date, I have used the min attribute. This is going to limit the calendar we see when we are trying to input to start at 2006 1st Feb. Then for the number input type of quantity, we have used min and max attributes. This limits the input to be between either 1 and or 5 inclusive. And next I've used the pattern attribute for city shortcode. This pattern attribute has a value which is a regular expression. I'm not going to explain that regular expression because that is outside the scope, but I'm going to put a link in description so you can read further. We have previously seen that for image input we use the width and height attribute so that we can control the size of it. And next you can see the input with list attribute is location, and we have provided a data list to show as drop down when we see it in the browser. And the points input, which has step is equals to attribute is equals to 3, and that means the value can either be incremented or decremented in units of 3, like 3, 6, 9, and or going back in 0, -3, -6. Now let's take a look at the output. You can see this attribute doesn't actually limit the size, so it may or may not work all the time, but the max length attribute does not allow me to input more than 4 digits. And for calendar, as I've told you, the calendar will start at 1st Feb 2006. You cannot input a value before that. And for quantity, we can only input values between 1 and 5 inclusive. And the image is showing in height and width we set. And for points, we can only increment or decrement value by 3. And for the pattern attribute, it does not allow us to input a value that does not follow the pattern of the regular expression. And for the data list, we can see the value as drop down.